What's happening? I am Biggz and I'm sharing a review by the professor associated with NoShitCoin.io. This review covers TWEP, or the Web3 project. According to the Web3 project, they are accelerating the transition for a Web3 world. Their website says the next generation of the web is shifting power from big tech companies to individual users. Capture value, be an early adopter, and own $TWEP. This review was done at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. I am a faithful member of the No Shit team. However, this review does not necessarily represent the views and or the opinions of the entire No Shit community. And always, as always, do your own research before you invest in anything. One of the things I absolutely love and admire about the professor and his reviews is how real he is. If there are pieces that are missing, he will call them out. If something looks like it could be a scam or a rug pull and not all the dots are connected, he's definitely going to say so. He is blunt and to the point, but it's because he cares about the safety of your investments. He uses his expertise as well as the No Shit checker to analyze a crypto project's validity in the marketplace. If you want to know a project is safe to invest in, it is always a good idea to consult the No Shit community first. You can find the link in the description of this video for all of the social media pages. This review specifically was done live in the Telegram with members of the No Shit community as well as members of the TWEP community involved on the call. These reviews happen every 2 weeks, so if you want to get your project or you believe a crypto project is worthy of a solid review, please follow the No Shit Twitter page at the link below, where we announce the potential review candidates and allow anyone to vote on what project will be reviewed next. Shout out to the TWEP community for engaging and boosting those votes and for getting your project reviewed this week. And of course, check out the No Shit website at the link below, join the community, and see how No Shit is working above and beyond to keep the crypto community safe from scams, rug pulls, and honeypots. I am very invested in No Shit tokens and the NFTs myself, and I absolutely love the care and the respect the No Shit community gives to crypto investors all across the board. Now, we are a community of people gathered around the idea of colonizing Uranus and building a scam-free society with the help of blockchain and Web 3.0 while using No Shit as our currency. No Shit is about to release the No Shit checker, which will alert you for rug pulls, honeypots, scams, or other potential issues with a cryptocurrency project. This will be released any day, so you can plug the contract address into the checker and let its AI-powered machine do the work for you. These reviews are done with the intent of educating new and potential investors, as well as informing the communities we review as to what potential dangers there are, or sometimes just simple things that can be managed so there aren't any leaks in the project. So that's enough with me rambling. If you're new to cryptocurrency world, there is a link in the description as well on how you can get started in crypto and stock trading, how I've done it, how I've become a heavy investor myself, with what I believe is some very solid financial security for my future. Now I'm going to go turn it over to the review. It was recorded earlier, so you can see what the professor found while diving into TWEP, and I'll catch you later.
So tonight or today, thank you very much for joining us again. And today we're going to have a review on the TWEP token, or the Web3 project, how it's called. And as always, we have an approach to review the tokens, and our approach consists on conceptual review. We go and check the team, who are the team, if they are KIC, if they are taxed, or if the team is known, and we do a contract review, which means that we see the function and the option of the smart contract. And as always, we do like study over the tokenomics to see what are the economical models of these smart contracts. So as always, we have collected this information carefully, and we see that these tokens definitely needed a review, and I have seen that there are plenty of information to be targeted on this token to highlight them, or at least to share with the community, either with their community or with us. So basically, the first question arises in this token is why really this token exists and what is the intention behind this token. So basically, I find a way to answer these two questions. The first one is basically to enable users to buy the token and to hold the token, and basically they receive a passive income from the liquidity pools, from the pools which they have stated that they have created a kind of pool. And the intention is basically as much as you have on your, let's say, wallet of this kind of token, then there is a probability that you gain more. And this more is based on kind of sophisticated algorithm, which is, for me, I haven't been able to understand and see that kind of algorithm, what it does, and how it indeed brings a new, more, let's say, value to the token which you have. So at some point, I was seeing that this kind of decentralized finance is, let's say, on the paper is very well designed, but then the issue always remains the implementation itself of this sophisticated algorithm, which I really would like to know and to understand what exactly they thought and they mean about this, because I don't see any sophistication beside comparing the results with some other, let's say, similar tokens which have failed already. But then I would like to know, and I haven't seen it, that where is this kind of algorithm which is more profitable compared to the others? And in the question, does it solve a real world problem? Indeed, I don't think it solves, because it's, for me, it's turned some kind of schema. I'm not saying it's a Ponzi schema, because there is no evidence for that, but I would say that it's turned some kind of schema which really don't bring any sustainability on this kind of market. In terms of finance, you need just to buy and hold, and then you earn some passive income if you do. So for me, question is how long, and how long is the right answer from their community to answer to us, let's say, how I'm going to get a little bit more results on my token, instead of results saying that how can I increase my profits. Well, the last question in general, why the audience should invest in it. Well, this basically depends on the purpose, and this question will remain for the end to be answered after we review the other concepts. So in terms of team, I confirm that the team is KIC. At least some of them, they are known. And they are doxed, so the names, surnames, and all the details of the teams are already officially shown on website, on their website. Well, in terms of white papers, there is not, let's say, much to say beside this analysis I mentioned, and the team, of course. One details which I was, let's say, supporting my analysis is that really they do this kind of example of loss and dumps and other tokens, and they have this, let's say, sort of kind of examples which they state that they still are dumping some amount, but not as the other. So, but beside that, I haven't seen kind of evidence beside these numbers, which can be like copy and paste, and which like can be manipulated easily, or can be one time winning and the rest can be like all time losing. So it's this kind of analysis for me are not convincing that this very sophisticated algorithm is something better than the other. So stopping to the team, two of the members of let's say the team have already KIC and show all the details about their credentials, I would say, but not for the rest of the team. So you can check it out on the website. It's quite easy to verify. I have plenty of issue with the contract. So basically, I have found like plenty of things which in your community we don't like, and at least with the ones who are dealing with crypto, this is not the way how I would design my own project or the others, or I would advise the other to design their own project. First, I agree that the contract is audited, but what is audited indeed is the proxy contract. The proxy, if you understand the context of the proxy, indeed, I can explain a little bit in general. So what exactly proxy means? So let's go switch again from scratch. If I come to the contract, if I see the contract here, then when I want to read the contract, so I cannot read because there is no ABI methods to read, or there is no availability to read. As a user, I have to call this contract. So it's I have to deal with it when it comes to buy and to exchange token with, or to swap token with this contract. So, but what I call indeed, when I pursue my call, it comes to a proxy contract. So instead of having a direct interaction with the contract, first I get a proxy contract, and the ABI of the current contract, which I'm interacting, is not actually the one which will show me or bring me the results in the end. So this is the meaning of the proxy. But how exactly does it works? So with a little small, or let's say with this small schema, I have designed this explanation methods for the proxy. So we have an actor, which can be me, and I'm trying to call this contract, which is the contract which I was mentioning. Let's say this contract. And this contract has a function called fallback, which calls another function which is called delegate calls, which pointers to the version of the smart contract 1. If we go back, we see that we have another proxy contract here around. So that exactly means that all the parameters, all the state variables from this contract will go to this contract, and the result comes back again to proxy or to me. So I am interacting with another contract. I am not interacting directly with the contract, but I'm interacting with the proxy of the contract. So indeed, in general, what does this mean? It's quite, let's say, complicated in the sense that this contract is upgradable or mutable. So there is a difference between the other tokens, because once I use the one single smart contract, I know that all the function of this smart contract will not change. And this is not the case in this smart contract. So I can upgrade this contract 1 to a version of contract 2 by upgrading it, meaning that changes some of the function, because as an admin, and each proxy has its own admin, I can really be able to upgrade from version 1 to version 2, meaning that changing some function. So all the variable state, or let's say state variables which are part of proxy, will be executed on the proxy, let's say on the smart contract 2, and will be coming back to me as a function. This means that in the case of honeypot or rough pool or other, let's say, blacklisting or whitelisting or manipulation of the contract by the contract owner, I have some free hands to upgrade the contract as many times as I want in order to change the behavior of the smart contract. Even though there are some, let's say, a standard protocol to do that, because that's usually not used on the token itself, on the DeFi itself. That's used a little bit more in the use cases when you have to change and to have to adapt the smart contract. The standard is there, it's provided from Ethereum, but it's not something which is really recommended for the token contract. So it's a matter of choice for the authors of, let's say, of the project to decide to use this type of logic. And yeah, continuing on explanation on the cases of the honeypot, if we check the first contract, it's definitely not a honeypot. because it has some kind of liquidity which we can swap the contract. But if we go and check the proxy, which they have, let's say, put it over here, we definitely can see that this contract with the Web3 project, it has like a full potential to have a honeypot function inserted on it. So it's quite high risk, this way of managing the project. So yeah. So my final recommendation is that it's high risk. It can change the code anytime, and the proxy owner can always point to the another contract. So in any case, I would really recommend to the community to really put eye on this kind of contract, or maybe to avoid investing on them. Even though the project can sound very good and it's quite a lot of parameters are very well defined, but for me it's fully suspicious. So I would not recommend anyone to go in this direction. In terms of rug pull, so I cannot say that there is a potential, because there's very few token holders which have like a sort of amount of let's say which can determine the how to say, which can determine the price in the short term. So for the long term, that we know that can always change, because if this trust wallets get, for example, a trust fund get, for example, a large of amount, then still it can determine somehow by draining the liquidity. Okay, yeah. There is another detail which I have really found on the contract. But before I go there, I would say that I'm saying no potential for now. But as I mentioned, that we always should have an A on the project which we determine to invest, because the rug pull is something which can come after several months or after several weeks, depends on the intensity of selling of the tokens. In terms of centralization aspects, the contract, by the way, has as well some centralization, because it can be used to blacklist some address from the token owner. So the owner has this possibility to blacklist a specific address, which this function remains permanent on the contract, and it's for the long term can be used, or can be, let's say, be kind of tool for the owner of the contract to exclude someone from the token. Paying and selling tax for now is quite attractive, and but they have put a very small amount of liquidity on the pool, which means that it remain another 80% or something more about the liquidity. They have a good implementation of token burn, so they burn kind of very good amount of the token, and these tokens are usually going in on this address as well in another address. I think I have seen it, but then basically is the one. It's hard coded, and I have tried to find the mint function inside the proxy, but there is no mint function, which is a positive aspect, and the total supply cannot be, let's say, extended. So in general, avoiding this basically this proxy issue, and being clear which is your own contract, why do you need to use a proxy, and as well clarifying the sophisticated algorithm, which I really couldn't find it, and couldn't find what is the sophisticated indeed compared to the other opposition project which exists already in a similar sense. I would say that the team has shown a little bit more progress compared to some other tokens, but that's not enough for me, especially when it comes to the safety of the funds invested on this token. And as well, I pay a lot of attention on sustainability of the project. So for me, I don't know, either the sophisticated algorithm is something extraordinary, which I haven't seen, which could bring some, let's say, sustainable finance or sustainable funds for the community. The token doesn't have like a lot of meaning without this. So yeah, this is basically my review over this token. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
Professor, thank you for this detailed review and doing this analysis and taking us through every step. I mean, even through proxy and everything else. So I think it's really important. I'm happy that we do these reviews because as we talk as community, it's important as well for the other tokens and investors, tokens, to be able and to see where are their gaps and can they improve, where can be their improvements. I think we have as well in our community people that are part of their community as well and know. So please feel free to jump in and ask questions or make comments.
That was another excellent review. Thank you, Professor. Your analysis was spot on.
Yeah, with pleasure. It was quite strange to see like a decentralized finance implemented with the proxy. And the proxy, the second contract, is like full potential of honeypot. It has no liquidity on the decentralized exchange, so it's pretty much weird project and very suspicious in the end.
You showed some good red flags.
Randy, I know you addressed this, and I brought it up as well, but Professor, we were wondering if there's such thing as a grading scale or a rating system or 1 to 100, or is that setting us up something not good?
Icon, I'm not sure if I did understood entirely and listen entirely because there is some noise on your voice.
So one of the things that we had asked about before, Professor, was to see if there could be like a scale. So we would know, is this like 80%? Is there any kind of scale we can measure?
I'm trying to design a matrix. So to put like 100 to 200 data points, which give us a final result. For example, if not this condition is fulfilled, then we give a code like 0.05. So in this sense, that to have like measurements for all the points. And for this, I would say 80% is scam. 80 to 90% is scam. The only thing I cannot conclude 100% is that they have a KIC and they have a, let's say, when you use their proxy, it's still working fine. But then when you use the contract, which is already, let's say, pointed, that's suspicious, and it can change anytime. So when they upgrade the contract, they can change the code anytime.
Professor, we have Dave on the call. So from their project, would you happen to have any questions that you would ask him on this call?
Yes, I would ask Dave, what is the sophisticated algorithm you have been mentioning, and what exactly it does compared to the other similar projects? Because according to your white papers, I haven't been able to see the details of your algorithm, nor to the smart contract itself.
I'm sorry, can you go again with the question and be more precise? Yes. I didn't quite get the...
Yeah, you was mentioning because of your sophisticated, or let's say better algorithm you have, you still have some dump on the price, you're dumping the price, but not as the others are doing. So what kind of different algorithm you are using for your solution, and what is better compared to the others?
Oh yeah, so basically the whole rebate system is centered around a positive rebate on the price and the token. So the same way the value of your tokens increases, like based on amounts, not value itself, sorry. Let's say based on amounts, as your tokens increase in value and in amount, sorry, like as they increase, the value of your tokens, they do not decrease, you understand? The same way other rebate tokens out there, as the supply increases, then the price of the token will depreciate. No, we did it in a way. Yeah, it's a positive rebate kind of thing, and not just that, it's two-way this time around. It's both on the price and the token itself. You understand?
Okay, so let's suppose I have 1,000 tokens, and I have bought them with €1. How the price of the token will be increased?
Yes, if people buy, the price will increase. If people sell, it will reduce. It just works under that same principle. Although our bond mechanism is very good in the sense that as more tokens get bonds, let's say the same amount a $50 buy would increase the price by as more tokens are bonds compared to when there are more tokens in circulation. It will have a good effect on the price itself. So you can see more determined and directional pump in the charts compared to when there are more tokens in supply. So, and not just that. Sorry, let's see. Okay, yeah. So let me forward something directly to the group so you guys can see.
Also, I just want to add up to what Dave said. So when Professor, let's say when someone buys like let's say 1,000 tokens, so TWEP basically has a dual rebate system. So basically,
exactly.
the quantity of your tokens will increase by 30% APY per year. So your tokens at the end of the year would be 1,300. So starting 1,000 plus 30% API should be 300, and 1,300 tokens you'll have at the end of the year. In addition to the quantity, the price will also increase by 20%. That is dual rebate, because 20% price will increase because they will be removing some tokens from the liquidity, right? They'll remove some tokens from the liquidity that will actually increase the price by 20%. So that is assuming the buys and sells stay the same, right? If the sells are obviously more, then obviously it will not have a 20% increase in the price. It will obviously be less or even in negative.
Exactly. So basically, it's the 20% APY for the tokens itself. Then the price rebase is about 30% price boost on a yearly basis. So just like he stated, if you have 1,000 tokens, your balance will increase by, let's say, 20% of your entire token balance. Then the price itself will be a 30% price boost. But that is dependent on if there are no buys or sales. Although that can happen, but let's just say that's on the balance rate. Like when the buys are balancing out the sales, that's if the price of the token remains the same. But in a case where it doesn't remain the same, like let's say if once our utilities roll out and the price does really well, you understand. So the 30% price boost to be like an added bonus on the price increase that is already set to happen, like as more people buy into the project. You understand? So that's how it works. And how the price boosts work is the exact words from is removed from the liquidity. So it in turn increases the value of the token. That's the price itself. So, and this is happening. It's happening over a yearly span. So 30% is set to increase like over a period of a year itself. So if you plan on holding long term, let's say you invest 100 euros in the project, after a year you're going to have 30% extra on that price. But not just that, like
Dave and Manshu, I do understand the math behind your algorithm. What I don't understand is how these tokens are baked. It baked from community by investing on it, or you have any like kind of other way to bake this algorithm, these tokens? I'm again to 1,000 euro, and why you are giving me, let's suppose, 20% in the end of the year?
Oh yes, the 20% APY on the tokens itself, it's reduced to that level because we've got to consider sustainability. Because if you check other rebase projects out there, they are not sustainable enough. Like if we're being honest with each other, like most have started and most died along the way and stuffs like that. So the reasons why the token APY has been reduced is because it's simply because we're just trying to consider sustainability, because we can't just dish out high APYs. At some points there will be like a lot of tokens in the supply and that way, once you have a lot of tokens in supply and the price declines, the value of the token will decline too. And if the price is declining, to decline at a faster rate because there are more tokens in the supply. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's why the APY is restricted to just 20% APY. And so then at least even though it's restricted to just 20% APY, you're going to be aware that, okay, the value of your tokens are also going to increase by 30% more value.
Yeah, let's suppose let's suppose this happened in first year, and we are in this middle of the second year. Let's say in the third year, how long you would give me 20% until you have liquidity?
Sorry, come again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so considering the liquidity, the whole liquidity factor, and all, that's where our utilities come in. So we've worked really hard for most of these utilities, and some we've dished out like ETAs, we've dished out.
Yeah, but I'm still on the third year of your project, and I have 1,800 now, or even a little bit to 2,000. So you will continue to give me 20% until the end of the project, and what guarantees that the price will remain? Or so you will give me the numbers and you will give me the price high.
Okay, so yes, considering the daily percentage yearly, I have to get back on you on that, because I would have to review. We've done some little changes so far, so I don't know. I would have to review and get back to you on that. But
well,
I feel it's restricted
in this point when you have to review, I definitely agree with you. It's like to give you like a kind of advice that the math is fine, but then the utility should be reflecting on that.
Yes, the utility should be reflecting on that, and this price increase and the token amounts increase is not something that will happen like yearly. It's not something that will continue to happen like yearly, because if it's to happen yearly, like continuously till the project ends, no, that's not sustainable. You understand?
Yes, I do understand.
So the last I checked, it was capped to just like 2 or 1 year, but that's why I said I'll have to like review it again and get back to you guys on that. So we've done some for the past few weeks.
Thank you for considering this. I have one detail, like technical detail. Why you are using proxy? Why you are not using your own contract?
Oh yeah, we have an info concerning the whole proxy, and that gives us the ability to be flexible. That gives the contracts a flexibility.
Then you know that ruins your immutability on the contract.
It ruins your what? Sorry?
Immutability, because the proxy, the version of the contract can be upgraded.
Yes, like gives you the ability to be able to upgrade your contract. That's what I meant by flexibility. So it just gives your contract this ability to be upgradable, and it makes the project like invulnerable and stable. So if some point in the future we come across a hurdle or something very important that needs to be addressed, you see, the fact that we are an upgradable contract gives us the ability to edit the contract and make sure that everything falls in line and becomes more stable compared to how it was. So basically, that's what that upgradable contract does. It just gives the ability to.
But then you are not, let's say, as long as you can let's say change the contract, you don't have any guarantee for the community that you won't benefit in the end of the game. So as long as
we have an audit with CETIC, right?
Sorry?
Yeah, I say we have an audit with CETIC.
I have seen your audit, and but it's general audit on your contract. On the proxy, beside you have the function of blacklisting, which is useful sometimes, and not most of the time. So the rest is general stuff.
Yeah, it's useful because most people try to manipulate the the chats, either with the use of bots. I'm sure you're well aware of bots.
Yeah, we are aware of it. This is why the function came into the play to avoid botting.
So those functions, auto on function. So they get activated like automatically when any of these changes are spotted, like any fishy movements or they are being tracked in the contract. So they all come in handy.
Yeah, in general, you have some centralization aspect over the contract.
Sorry, come again.
Yeah, I'm saying that you have ability to change the version, to make new version of the contract.
Oh yes, exactly.
Okay. So for my side, I don't have any other question.
One more time, Professor. One more time. So also regarding the proxy, right? One of the main reasons for the proxy was because if they have a proxy, they can actually set up like a circuit breaker. So basically, if the price falls, let's say 1%, the circuit breaker tax is enabled and selling tax would now be 10%, right? So if the price is normally trading and there's not a huge fall or a huge sell, the tax on buy and sell is now 0, right? But then if there's a sell and the price falls, let's say 1% in 1 hour, now that's when the circuit breaker enables and the selling tax goes up by 10%, right? So now the selling tax is 10%, and every 0.1% each sell impact, the tax is going higher. So that's what the proxy does, right? So now we can upgrade the contract and we can actually increase the selling taxes based on
well, you can do
the impact.
Himanshu, you can do that as well with a unique smart contract. You can change the fees on the contract. You can just add new function to change the fees.
The circuit breaker works in a very unique way. I don't think a unique contract can give you that accessibility features, you understand? So just like Himanshu stated, these are coded steps. I'm not a developer myself, but according to the way our lead dev explained it, these are some steps activated, like they are just set to detect like when the price changes and stuff like that. But then it does that for each individual sell and it does that for each individual price impact. So you see, they've got like a sort of unique way of identifying all these details and making the most out of them. So yeah, that's where the pros comes in. That's where it comes.
All right. From my side, I don't have any other questions. Thank you very much for participating in this review and sharing with us additional information beyond what we have already shown for the community.
Yeah, always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Professor and Himanshu, for being very active and talking things through. Do we have anybody from community members that wants to ask a question or say something?
Question. You said for your rules, you were using a rules-based engine. Do you know what engine you guys are using, or did you write your own?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sure, Dave. So the question I have is that you had mentioned you're using a rules-based engine. Do you know what rules-based engine you're using, or did you create your own?
Sorry, I didn't get that quite clearly.
You had mentioned before that you're using a rules engine, right? Or did I not hear that correctly?
I don't think I heard that clearly. Or can you type it? Sorry, let me see.
It's okay. It's not that important right now anyway. That's okay.
So you can just like send me a game after the call, like any questions, anything technical you get, like I can just like forward it to the team and get a more precise information concerning it.
That's fine. Thank you.
Great. Because I think we have another member from TWEP, Dragonfire. If there is any other questions or burning concerns before we close this amazing call where we all have been learning together. So is there any comment or question? No? Okay, then great. Thank you again once more, all of the community members from No Shit and TWEP team for being part of this call and where we had the opportunity to learn together and do review together on TWEP and having the TWEP community directly involved to answer the questions. We will be sharing this call as well on our social media platforms. And once more, thank you, and I wish everybody a good night. Thanks a lot, Professor, once more for the amazing presentation. Good night, guys.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.